Alright guys, my name is Chris Gutierrez with Metro Valley Ambulance, longtime paramedic and diesel mechanic. I'm going to show you two 2008 Dodge Sprinters 2500. This one over here, if I think I have it right, has 201,000 miles. The one to our right has 206,000 miles. I think I have that right. So they're almost to have the same mileage. They don't need anything. Everything works. They're deployment ready. There is one thing that doesn't work the way it's supposed to. It's the one that has 201,000 miles. The driver's side power mirror doesn't want to work with the power switch. That's the only thing that doesn't work the way it's supposed to. And if it was on the passenger side, I would have replaced it for you. But because it's the driver's side and you can just manually move it without too much trouble, I just left it alone, and and I'm trying to get you the best possible deal without making the price start going up. So I'm going to give you a walk around tour. The leader is the coach builder of these, which is by far the best coach builder for Type 2 ambulances. Just for the simplicity of their electronics, they have great layout in the back. But anybody can work on these electronics. All of the components you can get from Pep Boys or O'Reilly or AutoZone. There's nothing proprietary like there are in most coach builders, where they have a relay board or some sort of centralized computer system that operates the lights and the suction and all that stuff. Nothing like that in these rigs. So it's kind of off-the-shelf components. Very reliable. If a switch goes out, you can just buy a $6 to $12 switch and replace the switch. Let me back up a little bit. The paint is in pretty good shape. There's some scratches and stuff. Well, I'll show you some of that stuff. If you live somewhere where it gets snow, you might consider this excellent paint because there's no rust or anything like that. But if you look here, there's some scratches. I don't know how well that's showing up. There's some scratches from decal removal. These had stripes and some logos and stuff. We took that off because we didn't want them going out with that on there. Plus, you'd probably rather have a blank slate for your company graphics. So here's the outside, and then we'll start getting into the patient compartment. I'll fire them up so we got power to the back, and let's get started. So here's a sneak preview of the cab. We'll get in here in a minute. Let me just get this fired up, and then let me turn this radio off so that isn't interfering with my voice dialogue here. Alright, so back here you'll see this gorgeous interior. It's gray, which I like. It's my favorite. I can't stand it when there's an ambulance that has like electric blue upholstery or maroon or hunter green or something. This is kind of just universal. So here's a good look at the upholstery is in great shape. Almost always I see tears across the rear cushion from guys sliding their aluminum clipboards into the back before they climb in. You can see there's a 5-point harness system. You don't have to use it. You can use just a lap belt if you want, but on the jump seat there's kind of an elaborate system, which is not ideal if you're doing CPR or heavy rescue stuff. But here is the back. So let's go over to the action wall. That's where all of our controls and stuff are. And you'll see what's cool. You can probably already see the light is on. Each one of these, let me find the switch. Each one of these compartments has lights inside, but you can turn them off if you want. So, and over here too, let's see, bump, bump. So there's that. We kind of walked past this. This is for a stair chair, this big area here. And it's big enough for a striker stair chair, which is pretty big. I think most Type 2s, they can accommodate a Furno stair chair, but those are pretty small and narrow. The strikers are kind of what everyone's using nowadays, and it takes up a lot of space. You can put it in there. You can see there's cutouts there for gloves, hand sanitizer, and then you'll also notice the air conditioning and heat runs the length of the ambulance, which I like a lot, because a lot of times it's just it's forward facing and you just get whatever you get. But here you can close them down if the patient's too cold. You can close the ones down over the patient and whatnot. So the other thing that's cool about the Sprinters is they have the huge side sliding door. And most of the ambulances that I've worked on, the Type 2s that I've worked on as an EMT and a paramedic, were the Econo line, where you had two doors that opened up, and you have to have a pretty generous amount of space for both of them to swing open. So this is kind of cool because it doesn't require too much. Only pops out at like 4 inches and retracts back, and it's pretty cool. And if someone, if you're walking a patient to the ambulance, if the rear bumper's too high for them, to get up, it's much easier to come through the side, and there's, plenty of room there. So anyway, the action wall. So, let me close the back door so you can see. Oh, the other thing too, let me tell you, I'm 6'1". I can stand up straight. I can stand up straight back here with room. With there's probably 4 or 5 inches until the ceiling. So that's pretty good if you're tall. So the patient dome, you can see we turn that off, or we got that on, and they're all working. There isn't any of them that aren't working. And then you can go low. So if your patient's like, hey, it's too bright. Oh, looks like this one. Oh, no, there we go. Sometimes they just need a little bump. So that's the low, and then, which, it's only great if it's nighttime. So let's turn that back off. So there's the high. Next switch is the exhaust vent. So if there's odors back here that you don't want, that will evacuate the odors. The suction, we got the wall-mounted regulator canisters down there, and I'll put my finger over the hole. You can see, and if you want to increase it, which it needs to be, you can do that. You can really increase it, and you don't want to go in the red, because then you're taking all the patient's oxygen out of their mouth. So there's that. Then you got the AC and the heat. So you hit that, you can probably hear that coming out. That's low right there. So you get two speeds. On the speed selector, you got 2 speeds. There's high and there's low, and you can see that right there. So, oh wait, is that the, oh, that's the low. Okay, I thought that was kind of loud for low. So this is the low. You can probably hear the difference through my microphone. And then the much louder high. And then what determines heat or cold is you have a button there. You hit heat or cold, and then it'll switch it heat or cool. And then the thermostat's controlled in the front by the front AC. So if you really want to get it somewhere in the middle, you just tell the driver, hey, the patient's too hot, and they can adjust the thermostat up there. So that is the AC and the heat, and then I think we already showed you the compartment lights, and then it has an inverter also. So if you see, here's the inverter switch. That's all you have to do to turn it on. Is if you look at that plug right there, you'll see the light come on, and we've got one over here, which is near this. This is called the ALS wall, which you'd have your monitor and your jump bag. So if you have your monitor, you need to charge it. You put it over there. And I don't know if there's more than 2 of those plugs in the inverters in that cabinet there. It's a Vanner inverter, which is the best of inverters, and they're like $2,000 when you brand new. So it's got a Vanner inverter, and it's also a battery charger. So there's a Shoreline connection out there. this thing holds, there isn't any kind of drain on these batteries. I don't connect them on these units. I don't keep them connected to a shoreline. They've never not started, so yeah, I don't think you need to use a shoreline, but it's there if you want to. There's a lockable narcotics locker over here. I have the key for that, so you can put your narcs there, and then all these, you know, cabinets you would have for all of your other supplies. There's one here above that. There's all of those, and then there is storage for. I'll go out and open the side outside for me to show you that. But let me open this up. And then so the backboards are under the bench seat. There's that, and then there's a fire extinguisher. And so let's go to the side real quick. Alright, so you can see where it says oxygen bottle, and you can fit, no, it's only set up for two D tanks. It's not deep enough for, actually, you know what, it's set up for one D tank and one E tank. So this is long enough on the right side for an E tank. The other side you could only put a D tank. So there's that. And then for the oxygen bottle, your house tank, it goes under there. You can see there's the regulator. It's big enough to put an H tank. So you could put an M tank or an H tank in there. The rack is large enough to accommodate an H. I think most people carry M tanks. The H tanks are really heavy, but it will take that if you want that. So there's that. I think we covered everything back here. Let's go climb in the cab. Oh yeah, let me just show you this too. It's kind of a cool feature. You know, when the back doors are open, because of the rear, you know, you got your emergency lights are on the door itself. So when the door is open, just so you know, you're still safe, you've got these emergency lights that well, you know, when the rear doors are open, you can see those going. So you got some light still going when your doors are open. All right, so let's go in the cab. And here's your shoreline right there. So here's the driver's door. And you can see that the seats are in great condition. There's no tears or anything like that. Huge headroom. And now that's the access for all the electronics and stuff. There's a carbon monoxide detector there, and you know, you just undo those. There's a couple of Allen head bolts up there. Undo that, the thing flops down, and there's electronics in there for all the lights and everything. It kind of feels like you're getting into a big rig. These are a lot taller than the Econo line. And let's see, what should we go through? Okay, the radio, I think we already featured that. Alright, so the radio works. Your AC, get that going. And then we can do, so if we want high, your thermostat's right here, so we'll put it on the cooler side because it is a little warm today. And then it just, you know, you can adjust. Do you want it coming out the bottom? Do you want it on defrost? You can hear the actuator door move as I move that around. And there's that. And then your speed selector is here, so you can lower it or turn it off or turn it up. Your power door locks are in the middle here. They're not on the door, so and a little light will tell you, hey, you're locked. So there's that. Let's see, what else? Your hazard light, which is right there. This is missing. All it is a clip. So if you wanted to clip a note under there or handwritten directions, that's all it was a clip. There isn't a dial or anything that would be there that's missing. That's what that is. And then all of our emergency related stuff is down here. Turn the power on. Whale, yelp, and then air horn. The PA is down here. on that. Oh, that's too high. Let me turn it down. Testing. There's people looking at me over across the way over there, so I don't want to get too crazy with that, but all that stuff works. And then all your emergency lights are here. So one switch does all of the emergency lights. There's a cutout for backup alarm. There's your left flood, your right flood. You can turn the patient dome lights off from the front if your partner left them on back there. Also for the AC and heat, if he left or she left that on back there, you can do that. Now here's a big bonus. This is with the Leader ambulance, is the only coach builder that I'm aware of that has this. This is an emergency start switch. So there's one battery that's dedicated. It's not connected to the rest of the system other than the starter. So say, your crew is sitting out on post and they're listening to the radio without the motor running, and they drain the battery. And now they have a call and there's not enough juice in the Dodge battery to get the thing started. You can flip the switch there and it will trigger that one battery that's just waiting for that moment. And boom, you can start it up and you got your power. There's a couple cup holders here. Storage for patient care reports. You can see the driver's seat. I can't see because of the sun. The passenger seat's in great condition. You can see there's no tears or anything like that. Armrests. These armrests are kind of trippy because they do this, like you can lock in whatever kind of, but it seems like this is zoomed in. Oh, it is. Okay. You can lock in like whatever position you want, and all you got to do to clear it is just take it all the way up. So wherever you kind of want it to go, whatever's most comfortable. So that's pretty cool. There's that. Is there anything else? See the headliner, everything's in great shape. Anyway, I have this thing lit up, so let's get outside and look at the lights. Okay, and then the one thing I will point out, if you look in the light bar, and I notice a lot of times when I'm watching my video, when I'm editing it, my shutter speed can't keep up with how fast the lights flash, so sometimes it looks like they're not even flashing. The light bar is going crazy right now, and there's a combination of red lights and white lights, and there's two steady reds in the middle there. But you'll notice on the other rig, it doesn't have white lights in there. You can just see that it's just got the red lights. There's a bank for them. I guess they just ordered it that way without them. So, I guess that's that. So there's that. Let me go take you around the back. There's two in the front grill, one, or not the grill, but above the front bumper. One facing forward, one angled out towards the corner. And we got these up high. And then you can see what the ones in the back are doing. We got orange, amber and red ones. And they're LED. If you don't like what they're doing, they're programmable. They're really easy to program. You can change it, or we can change it for you if you want something else. If you're in Texas or somewhere that has blue lights, if you need blue lights, we can change that for you if you want. So there's that. I think we got this side already. And there's that. So there's that. Let's jump over to the other ambulance. And we'll do a test drive too, so that. Oh yeah, you know what? Hold up. I forgot. Let me show you. Turn this back on. So the windows. So we got power windows, which you can see there. I forgot to show you some stuff. Over on that side, power windows, and then the mirror. So you got the control for the mirrors right there, but I believe it's, oh no, it's not, this one works. You can see that moving around. It's the other rig that it doesn't want to go. It works fine for the passenger side. You can see that mirror moving around. Around, up and down. Oops, I got it all the way in. Bam, up, down. So there's that. And then, you know, wipers. Let's see. How do we do the wipers? There we go. And there's, I think it needs fluid for the, oh, you know what? Let me show you the motor too before we go to the other one. Oh, that's probably one of the biggest pluses on the Sprinters is the whole entire motor is exposed when you, let me put the camera down for a minute. Alright, here is the motor. It's a V6 24 valve Mercedes motor. And basically these are Mercedes vehicles that Dodge just has a licensing agreement. And that's a good thing. I mean, Mercedes, I think they've been making diesel motors longer than anybody. Way longer than Ford. And they're pretty solid. I mean, I've seen, you know, Sprinters with 5, 6, 700,000 miles on them. So you'll notice, I mean, a lot of the parts, if you look, like there's a glow plug module right there. If you look on there, it's, you know, Mercedes symbol. It's not the Dodge symbol. So, oh yeah, on this one you'll see this is the EGR valve right here. We replaced that. I should have brought it out, the one that we changed out. Had so much soot buildup that it couldn't operate anymore. It was staying closed. It's supposed to open and close, open and close. There was so much soot, it needed to be replaced. So that's like a $400 part. And that's brand spanking new. So this thing hauls butt now. It had no power before because of that. And so now it's made a big difference. But as you can see, everything's accessible on the Econo line, which I love. I've been working on them for a long time. I like working on them on the Fords because they're so predictable. When something isn't working, ICP sensor or IPR valve or high pressure oil pump, any of that stuff, you know, certain symptoms show up. I know right away like what to look for. But getting to those parts on the Econo line is a hassle. Everything on here, like the EGR cooler or EGR valve, for example, on a Power Stroke, that's like a half day, you know, 4 or 5 hour job, just because there's a significant tear down just to get to it. I changed this out in like 10 minutes on this because everything's here. The whole motor is right here, and everything's pretty affordable on these things. Even like a new crate motor is only like $9,000. So, you know, there's the air intake right there. If you want to change the filter out, I mean, look how easy that is. You just pull it forward, take it out. The Power Strokes, they're not difficult, but it's not that easy. So there's that. And you can see it's pretty clean. So, and there's no leaks, there's no oil leaks, no transmission leaks, there's no issues or anything like that. It's solid rig and it's ready to run calls right now. So, matter of fact, let me just go in the back. I'll show you. Let me see. We can probably see a little in there. See what the frame looks like. There's no rust anywhere. You can see in there. Oh yeah, there's see the spare tire. It's under the rear bumper. Here's the underneath look. You can see there's no rust. In fact, it looks pretty damn nice on here. You can see, I just saw something else I should show you. You might be able to see from here the air intake for the patient compartment heat. Let me zoom over there. It's right there. See that? See like those two fans that are right there? That's for the rear heat and AC. And then the fuel tank is in the middle of the chassis, just like the Econoline. And there's that. Oh, we'll go up front. Let me do the same thing up front. Let's get out and go over there. Whew. Okay. Alright. You can see no rust at all. The control arms look great. Everything's great under here. So if you live in Michigan or somewhere in North Dakota where it gets a lot of snow, you're probably pretty impressed with this.